Good morning, everybody. I am having the worst luck. I recorded a video about a week and a half ago and I decided not to post it. I actually really liked the video. It was just completely real and raw. Um, and right at the very end, somebody called me and I forgot to turn my phone on airplane mode so that nobody would be able to call. And so that was a problem, and I still have not had time to learn how to do editing. So that happened. And then there was also some content in it that was not approved by my husband. So I don't need his approval. Don't get the wrong idea. It was about him. So he that's something that I think, I need to respect his decision on. So I decided not to post it. And then I tried to do another video, but I kept getting this glare in my glasses and it was driving me crazy. And I just decided that I just didn't like it. So I'm not going to post something that I don't like. I want to make sure that I have good videos for you, and just wanted to give it another go. So I canned that one. And I started another one today, and again, I forgot to turn the airplane mode on, and my husband called me and interrupted the video. So it's like, what is happening? So anyways, today, and I wanted to make sure to talk to you about the Montessori video and apologize, I think, for maybe the third time that I still haven't been able to get to it. I really do promise I will get to it, and I want to show you my classroom too, so I'm going to take you on a tour of my class, but I really want to make sure that I'm prepared for that. I don't want to just wing it, so I will get to that eventually. And today what I really wanted to talk to you about is kind of my journey of motherhood, because I think everybody has their own experience with having children, and I mean, everybody has their own style of parenting. I'm not going to get into that stuff, but just kind of my whole experience in what happened with having children. I always thought that I would be able to carry children and not have any problem at all, and I just always had really positive outlook on everything. And with my first child, I had no problem getting pregnant. I think I got pregnant within about 3 months of us deciding to try. And then the pregnancy was wonderful. I felt great. We went to Germany when I was 7 months pregnant, and I walked up to Neuschwanstein Castle. So I had no issues whatsoever during the pregnancy. And unfortunately, the labor was not so nice. I thankfully did not have to have a C-section or any kind of invasive measures to get this little guy out of me. But it was, without getting into all the details, it was a long process. And afterwards, I felt okay, and I remember going to my doctor in the city, because I'm from the city, and so I have kept her all these years because she's so wonderful. I live about an hour outside of the city, so it's not too bad to go in and see her. And I remember I said something about being a mom or whatever, and she's kind of snapped back in an instant and said, "You'll never feel yourself again." And I thought, what a pessimistic thing to say. Like, how could anyone say that to a new mother? And I was really upset because I just, had this super positive attitude and outlook on life, and super happy with, my new family and all that stuff. So that just always kind of sat strange with me. As time went on, I would say by the time my son was about 2.5, maybe, I just was not feeling myself. As I said, I was always, have always been a really positive person. I've been the one who, will do anything to cheer people up, and I want to go up to people in the subway if they look sad and try to cheer them up. And if I see a new mom who just looks exhausted and she's been up all night, I'll offer to get her a coffee and a muffin or something like that. So I've always been that kind of person, but I just went through this period where I didn't feel myself, and I worried about things that I should not worry about, and to quite quite an extreme degree. I was worried all the time. What if? All of the what ifs. And at this time, I was also trying to get pregnant with my second child, and it was just not happening. And it wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening. So finally, my husband and I decided to go and see a fertility doctor so that we could find out, what was going on, if there were any problems that we weren't aware of. And through that investigation, we realized there wasn't really anything seriously wrong. And for me, my cycle was just a little bit mixed up, but nothing that would, alert them to, oh yes, like this is definitely the reason why you're not able to get pregnant right now. So as time went on, I realized I couldn't work with this doctor anymore because she really didn't care why I couldn't get pregnant when she realized that from her perspective, there really wasn't anything huge. She just wanted to get me pregnant. And my husband and I had already decided that we were so very lucky to have our first child that we didn't want to go through IVF. It was just our personal choice. There's so many people that are not able to have children easily or not able to have children at all. And we felt very lucky to have our first child. So we didn't want to go through all of those measures. So we tried IUI twice. And so I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it's basically where they put everything in the right place for you so that there's more of a chance it will get to where it needs to be, without being too graphic in the description. So we did that twice, and it didn't work. And then I had some pretty serious physical things happen, unfortunately, after that. And I kind of, at that time, I decided, again, as I mentioned, that I wasn't going to see this doctor anymore. And I went to see a naturopath that was recommended by a very, very dear, close to my heart friend who said, why don't you try this naturopath and see if maybe she can do something different for you to help you out. So through that whole investigative process, I think I was in her office about 3 days a week crying because I was so upset because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't feel myself. Like I said, I was worried all the time. I gave my husband a hard time. Just because he didn't know what was going on either, and I certainly wasn't myself. And so eventually what we realized is that it was actually my hormones. And my hormones were everything was just too low. Like usually there's, if progesterone is high, estrogen is low, and vice versa. But for me, it was absolutely everything. My adrenals were shot, my cortisol was off, it was just really unbelievable. And so this was definitely why I couldn't get pregnant. So because I was, still fairly young at that time, and of course I was trying to get pregnant, we used all homeopathic and natural vitamins and some Chinese herbs to get my hormones to remember how to work again. So I'm not sure what caused all of this to happen, but it did. So I would say that it was just maybe within a couple of months, I was feeling so much more like myself. It was unbelievable, the difference. And I was thankfully able to conceive again, and I didn't believe it at all. I went into my naturopath's office, and she's like, I really think you should take a test. And of course, I had taken a million tests in the past, and so I didn't really believe it. I was like, whatever, I'll just do it for you, kind of thing. And so I handed her the stick. We did it in the office together, not with my husband, but with my naturopath. And we were standing, it was like in this sort of back room in the office that she had been working in. It was kind of dark back there, and we were looking at it under a light. And so there was just like this very faint line, and I was like, no, this is just not happening. And she's like, no, really, come here right now, there's a line. And that's when we discovered that I was pregnant. So of course I called my husband, sent him the picture, and I was so happy that I was with my naturopath, because we did work so hard together. And she is really she is a true healer. You can, every naturopath, every doctor, speaks to different people, and it just worked for us. And I think she's a very intuitive healer, and I think that's why this all worked. And she was also very just loving and gracious. She said, don't worry, text me if you need to text me, because she knew what state I was in, and really wanted to make sure to be a support to me, like inside and outside of the office. And I don't think that, I think that's something she reserves for people who were in the state that I was in. I don't think that she does that all the time, but it so truthfully helped me a lot. And I've told her, from the moment that all of this happened, that, she's just a member of our family now, really, because I would not have my little one without her. So thank you. I love you. I hope you're watching. I don't want to say your name just in case, but I'm just so very grateful. So I had my little one. Unfortunately, the pregnancy with him was terrible. He was way too big for me. My first one was 6'3", and so he was just like a little peanut. And my second one was 8'7", and I have a very short, I know you haven't seen me yet, but anywhere from here down, but I have a very short torso, and so I didn't have very much room to carry a big baby. And I had sciatica through my entire pregnancy, so that really, by the end, I was just doing absolutely everything to get this kid out of me. I was like, okay, I can't stand this anymore. I couldn't walk. I felt horrible. So thankfully the birth was great. That was a relief for sure. And now he's just turned 6, and I would say maybe by the time he was around 4.5, I started to feel a little bit of this worry again, and a little bit of panic again, and just not really feeling like myself. And so, I recognized the signs obviously right away this time. And so I've been working with a new naturopath who specializes in hormones to get them back up to where they should be, so that I'm feeling better again. So I am feeling better. We still have a little bit of work to do to get it perfect, but we're getting there. And I think that, the reason why I want to share my story is because female hormones is something that people don't want to talk about. People are worried to talk about. People are worried they're going to be judged, and people are worried they're going to say, oh, she just, she's hormonal, or, she obviously has a problem because she's, being BITC, you know what I'm getting at. And I don't want to swear. So I just, I want to really try to remove the stigma of talking about hormones, because I think, again, it's something that happens to a lot of women that they don't recognize. And I didn't recognize it the first time. It took me a really long time to figure out what was going on. And I was pretty mixed up. I had all kinds of things that were happening that I just didn't understand. And I had cysts as well that were, that were exploding at certain points in my cycle, and I had stabbing, horrible pains. So there were a lot of things that were going on, and I think that not everybody not everybody has the ability to necessarily get to that point where they can see like, okay, there is something more going on here, and I need to get to the bottom of it so that I can feel better again. Sometimes it's just because you're just in such a state you just can't you just can't like get past that and be able to kind of like step out of your situation and think about it. Sometimes it is because maybe women don't have the support that they need. I'm very fortunate that my husband is very supportive. I have a wonderful family, and all of my friends are amazing. And so I think that those things all really helped me to kind of realize, like, I've got to get back to myself here because I don't like this. I am a goofy, silly, happy, person who I just didn't know who this new sort of tired, worried person was. So I really encourage you to support each other and recognize that, everybody goes through stuff. Sometimes, I'm going through something, or a friend of mine is going through something, and sometimes it's just, you need to worry about your friend, but you also have to remember that, at the time, maybe you're both going through a time that things are not so good. But what else is there to do but to support each other? So talking about it is really the biggest thing. And sometimes people don't want to talk, and that's okay. But just to send those little notes again, I've mentioned it a couple times now, just checking in. How are you doing today? Thinking about you. You don't even have to ask any questions. Just know that your friend does not want to talk about it. Maybe you can encourage them to talk about it, but not just a little bit. And then just, make sure that they know you're there when they're ready to talk. And if you're not comfortable talking, then you know what? Pick one friend. Just pick one friend that you can trust, that you think you can trust. Talk to that one person and make sure they know, like, that you picked this one friend to talk about it, and that you don't want it to go anywhere else. And so even if you have that one person you can talk to, at least you have that one great person that you can count on. And that provides a little bit of sounding board, and it gives you a safe place to talk, and you always know that you will have that person. My friend, who I have lots of friends, thankfully, that are wonderful and we support each other. But my one friend who recommended the naturopath to me, she and I have always had this kind of friendship. And it's wonderful. When I hit rock bottom, she was there for me. She looked after me. Her husband looked after me. And we always know that we can call each other and say, hey, or even text or send a message on Facebook, I'm just having a day. I'm feeling really panicked, or I'm feeling really upset today, or I just don't feel right today. And, we always support each other back and forth that way. And it is a given. I mean, it doesn't matter what is happening in our own life. We know, like, we're each other's sort of, SOS line to have that support. So please, if you are going through anything that you're having a really hard time talking about, just find or pick one friend or family member. I mean, it can be anybody, of course, not just a friend. It can be a family member, anybody, just one person that you can talk to that will help you feel comfortable in your own skin and feel like you can talk about things without judgment. So I encourage you to do that, and let's keep talking, and let's always remember to support each other. We don't know what other people are going through on the inside. You can see whatever you want on the outside. You don't know what's happening on the inside. So keep that in mind when you talk to other people and see other people, and just do your best to support other people. So if you have any questions, definitely please feel free, or comments, feel free to post below. And I just wanted to start the conversation about infertility and hormones, and all of these crazy things that women and moms have to go through to varying degrees, and just remember to love each other, and make sure that you tell your loved ones how you feel all the time, and never be ever be worried about that. I always hug my boys. I have always been able to approach both my parents. I hug my mom, I hug my dad. We're just be open and be honest and true to yourself and others, and the world will be a better place. So anyways, I've rambled way too long today. Given you an extra long video today because I've been off for so long, and I have a huge day ahead of me, so I should probably run and get started. Love all of you. Take care, and I will be back soon. If you have any videos that you're interested, or anything you're interested in hearing about, definitely post below. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.